Okay, it appears I had an issue with my mic, and I apologize for that. So basically what I've just done is I dried the figure so that we have a nice base to now start doing the green camouflage. Let's see, what are people saying here? On my way back, we'll have to watch it later. Okay, awesome. Okay, so yes, now we're going to work on the green. I talked about before that I have a brush that I only use for camouflage. It's a Winsor Newton brush. Winsor Newton's Ott. And it has a nice little point. And I want that point because I'm going to draw the different colors. And I want that control. Yeah, I can do it with this craft brush, but I can do it a little bit better with this brush. So, okay, so for my green, I'm going to use Vallejo Dark Green. Again, this is 70893. This is the green color that I use. There have been other dark greens that Vallejo makes, but this one worked the best for me. That's what I prefer. That's what I've been using for years. I mentioned that when I painted for Elheim, I painted a whole bunch of their marine mop guys in Woodland, and that's the color that I used. So I need to get some medium here. I'm going to drop some medium in here. Blend this together. Okay, here's my trusty rag here. Okay, so I'm going to look to see how do these greens line up. Is there a pattern? And a lot of times you can find a pattern, and that pattern, I guess, is made based on how the clothing was cut at the time and just everything was sewn together. So let's try this out. Got my nice brush. Let's see here. Put it right up there. So yeah, I am going to go a little bit slower with this part here. Sorry as I bump the camera. And so I just start making and painting just kind of stripes. And I swear, Woodland Camouflage, in this particular case, does not appear to be Woodland Camouflage until the black is done. It's funny. I remember working on this pattern years ago and just getting so frustrated. Like, this just does not look right at all. This is a failure. And then all of a sudden, I painted the black lines or the black stripes, and like, oh, okay, it's all put it together. It all came together. So I'm adding some more green stripes here. Again, this is a challenge because I'm painting with these magnifiers on, and then looking a little bit down below onto the figure, making sure that I can see the damn thing, as well as make sure that it's in the camera. Okay, I love painting the pouches because you have just a very small area that you can really do some neat work on the camouflage pattern. Okay, I'm going to swoop it down. Now in this case, I am looking at the pair of pants that's hanging in my studio for reference. because I can't really see that image too well of what I put on the screen. But you get the point. It's good to have uniforms, in my opinion. Have uniforms on hand so you can bring them to your studio, so then you have a real world reference. It's also good to have, in my opinion, some like 1/6 scale G.I. Joe dolls and in different uniforms, so then you can actually pose them and you can see how the uniforms, how the camouflage pattern moves around as the figure's arms are bent or as it's kneeling or holding its weapon, that sort of thing. Okay, so I'm just really going around and seeing what areas I've missed, what areas need the green. Okay. Okay, so now let's get the arms. This makes it a lot easier because with all this armor and web gear around, there's not much for me to paint. Now I will, on this armor, to make it interesting, I will do some camouflage on that. Just to break it up a little bit. There's a lot of shadow where the sling is, so we're not going to spend a lot of time in that. We'll fix that with different shades, brown and blues and stuff like that, and create more shadow. Okay, so I think I am done with the green. Pretty easy. It's real easy, no stress. Just green stripes horizontally for this. Okay, I'm going to clean off my brush. Okay, now, pardon me, I'm getting some coffee. So I have some, so I keep going. Okay, so now I'm going to do the brown stripes. And in the event you guys didn't hear me, I use Vallejo chocolate brown. Okay, I see somebody's making 2 new comments. Hopefully they're nice comments. I don't see them. I apologize if you guys are commenting me. I cannot see it for whatever reason. Okay, so again, we'll just do the same thing. These are brown stripes now. Now, the brown stripes, if you look at Woodland Camouflage, it's kind of like a puzzle. They kind of fit in next to the green stripes. Let's see if I can get that in focus. So they fit in next to the green stripes, just like I said, like a puzzle. And so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take chocolate brown, put it on there. Mix it up. Okay, so I'm the pair of pants that I have to the left of me. It's got a lot of brown in it. So now I'm going to just draw that brown in. Sorry, trying to get it in focus, trying to get in good light for you guys. So I paint the brown up to, sometimes up to the green line. So then we're gonna, this pair of pants has a lot of brown in it. So I'm going to be painting a lot of the brown in it. I'm painting them up to that green. Okay. Focus, focus. People argue that I'm not going to spend $10 or $12 on Winsor Newton brushes. Well, you don't have to. But I will honestly say it's a better tool than most brushes, in my opinion, and they will make you a better painter because you'll have more control. I would suggest getting cheap number 8 round craft brushes to do your heavy lifting work, your speed painting. Save the nice point of the Winsor Newton for camouflage patterns, for faces, for artwork, subway work, or whatever, graffiti, that sort of thing, or get micron brushes for that. But yeah, I wouldn't use Winsor Newton brushes to do base coats. That's just, in my opinion, it's ridiculous because you've got a small brush and you've got a big area to paint. So if you're trying to get something painted fast, use a bigger brush. And then when it's time to do detail work, then use this size 8. Okay, let's see here. Pouches. So sometimes you'll see the color overlap or come out on the side of the pouches. Okay. Now this brown is thin, so there's times that if you see it's too thin and your base coat's shining through, then you just go back and put paint over it. Let's see here. Now we've got the back of the pants. So paint the brown in. Okay, I'm starting to pick up speed here just to get this going here. Because again, what's going to tie all this together is the black. Same with multicam. To me, multicam doesn't look like it's multicam until I have little white dots on it. Then it looks like it's something. Okay. And I'll do a multicam tutorial. This is more of a test with this camera. Hopefully you can see all this. Right now I'm just looking for spaces where I think I need to add brown. That's all. Okay, let's go on the sleeves. Put some more brown on the sleeves. Almost done with the brown here. And it's nice, I will say, this web gear, it is nice The pouches are all over the place because it's less camouflage for me to have to paint. Because what I'm trying to do is, for this video, get the point across about painting woodland camouflage in a quick way. Okay. Awesome. So now, to help break this up, because you just see this brown and everything like that, I'm going to look for a nice green. One of the colors I use a lot is Vallejo Russian Uniform. I know I'm using my Winsor Newton, but that's okay. So we'll start here with introducing some color green, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see where I want to go with it. I want them to stand out a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to go do the black. And this is, to me, the final part. The most important part, in my opinion, is putting the black in, because that's what ties everything together. So I see some people are still commenting, but I don't see the comments, so oh well. Okay, so for this, I'm just going to use model color black. I like this black color. It dries pretty matte. I've mentioned before I'm not a fan of the game color black. Not at all. It dries glossy and it's just, I don't like it. It throws my eyes off when I'm painting. Okay, so in my opinion, the black does a couple things. It ties everything together. It also, if you have mistakes, you can paint black into those mistakes and take care of it. So let's see here. Get in focus here. And I'm just going to paint the black. Again, I'm using the pair of pants that I have as a reference. This same technique can be used for TPM. I would just use different colors, just brighter colors. And then when you do the black, you swirl. It sounds like a Seinfeld episode. You swirl a certain way. Okay. Inside the leg. Okay, I'm taking a little bit more time with this. And I'm bumping up against the other colors with it. Okay, let's see here. Okay, and you know, when I'm moving the figure around, and if I see stuff that needs to be corrected, I just correct it. Now here's a good example of how the black can tie the different colors together, and I see it. I see it on this pair of pants to the left of me, right here. Let's just use this as an example. The centerpiece. It's a weird shape, kind of like a half moon with branches going out. Just like that. And then more veins or more branches. You definitely want to paint with the tip of this brush. You don't, when you're doing this pattern, you don't want to paint with the side of it, because you're drawing just different shapes. So okay, taking a look at the pants. Looks pretty good. Okay, let's get on with the sleeves here. Okay, let's see here. Putting some black center here. Okay, pretty much done. I can see that I might want to add some more green to brighten that up, brighten the green. I think what I'm going to do is add a drop of Vallejo Gunship Green to the US Dark Green. Mix this up real good, real quick. Pardon me. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I want to introduce some a little bit brighter here. Let's see if that will do anything for us. So I'm just kind of going back over the green a little bit, kind of in the middle, just adding more color. Just little dots, that's all. You know what? I think I'm going to change the green out on the pouches. There we go. I like that. That's different. That's just a little bit different and crazy. Okay. So I think I'm pretty much done with the camo here. I'll wash off my brush. Put this away so I don't mess it up. Now I'm going to work on the web gear. And for the web gear, I'm just going to use Russian uniform. Yeah, stuff is drying out on me. Okay, let's see here. Let's start getting at these pouches and adding some more color here instead of just browns that we see. Now, yeah, you could have painted all these pouches different camouflage, a whole woodland scheme if you wanted. But for this demo, I didn't want to do that. It'd just take up too much time. Okay, getting the straps here. Getting all these pouches. It's kind of hard to see what's actually... Okay, he's got some pouches here, or patches here on the side. Okay, so it's coming along. Let's see, did I get everything here? Sometimes I go too fast and I miss areas where I'm supposed to be painting. So apologize for that. Okay. So, you know what? I am going to paint the rifle sling. That green color. Okay. So now, to help my sanity here, I'm going to paint the rifle and the boots. Same color. And to do that, I'm going to use Vallejo Panzer Aces Dark Rubber. I like this as a nice base color for some of my weapons and boots. And then I will use a black wash over it to tone it down, or like Nuln Oil or something like that. We can do that real quick. Okay, so I've got, put it on the palette. Let's get the boots. Okay, now I'm going to get the rifle. second. Get some paint on my hand. Top of the rifle. To make things easier, I'll just paint the EOTech the same, and then I'll just add some more darks to that to break that up. Let's see, did I get it? Okay, nice. Okay, I'm going to paint the magazine a gunmetal color. Okay, and that done. You know what? Why not? This point isn't the best on this brush, but that's okay. That's why I'm painting this now. The glasses now, and then I'll just go over the flesh. Okay. So for this flesh, I'm going to use the base Cairn Maroon Tan. Okay, get his fingers. His hands. Now we'll get his face. His shaved head. And we'll do a cool technique on his scalp, just to make it look like it's shaved and like the hair is grown back. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'm looking for other things. So in Iraq, on the med pouches, I saw guys do a couple things. They either painted the crosses red, or if they had electric tape, like what we did, we painted it black. So either way is good, but okay. Let's see. Now let's work on the beard and the hair. I'm going to go back to the chocolate brown. Why not? Because it's there, it's on the palette. Get the hair. Top of the head. Okay, make sure I have it right underneath here. Make sure I have the side of his beard. I see an area, oops, sorry, as I hit the camera. See an area right under here by his ear I completely missed. Awesome. Top part of his hand. Okay. I see just a little area on the rifle by the mag well that I missed. Okay, so this is pretty much done as far as base coats go. Now that things are drying, and that black will dry matte, you can see how the pattern is. Nothing special on the pouches yet or anything like that. Okay, so now let's see, what do I need to do? I'm going to start doing some washes, but I need to use the hair dryer first. So I'm going to mute the mic and get that done. Okay, get some more motivational juice here, some coffee. My days start around 3:30, and I stop around 7 in the evening, and when I'm done, I'm done. So the caffeine helps me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take dark tone, quick shade wash, and I'm going to put this on my canvas, or I'm sorry, my wet palette. And I'm going to apply it on the boots so that we're going to create some shades. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same on the weapon. And I can see that there's areas where I missed because of me painting fast, and that's okay. They'll all be taken care of with the different shades and glazes. So I am not worried about that at all. Okay, so let that dry. Now a couple things. What I'm going to do is I am going to quick shade the face sorry, pouches, the knee pads, the elbow pad, the sling. And I've talked about this before. I use Camo Vallejo, Camo Black Brown. And what I do is I make a wash for this. So when I say a wash, that means I'm adding about 1 to 8, sometimes 1 to 9 drops of paint. I'm sorry, drops of water. So 1 drop paint. Get my trusty dropper bottle of water, which I see I need to refill. 6, 7, 8. Mix that up. Want to see how thin this wash is. I'm not wanting to really darken the area too much, but I am wanting to do a nice stain, nice wash. Okay. So sometimes for me to see, I like that, how it flows. Perfect. Okay, so put it on his face. Put it on his hair. Put it on the web gear, sling. All on the backpack, pouches, butt pack, everything. Just creating a shadow, creating a shade. Some people would be aghast at what I'm doing. Say, oh my God, you need to do all these different shades. And well, yeah, you can. For me, I don't have as much time as I did, so I have to decide on how I'm going to paint for myself versus how I'm painting for photographs. And I'm doing this for myself, so it's a lot quicker. Okay, so we definitely have stained. This brown and this Russian uniform really work well together. I have used this color for years. I remember when Liberation Miniatures, was that it? 20 millimeter Liberation. He came out with his SBS figures that were involved in the prison riot in Afghanistan. And I was looking for a nice green, khaki colors to use, and I discovered this probably from the Guild, probably from Dougie Robinson talking about on the Guild forum that color. So I thank him. That was a neat forum. There was a lot of people there, a lot of information. Lots of cool stuff, lots of awesome hobbyists on there. Okay, done. So now I'm going to mute the mic and use the hairdryer so we can move on to the next. Okay, I'm going to knock out these pouches real quick. So I'm going to go back to my Russian uniform. Let's see here. Man, oh man, this must be an older paint jar because it just keeps literally drying up on me. as I'm using it. I'm going to add some thinner medium to it. You can see it. Mix it up. Okay. So now, just go over where the highlights should be, where the light's hitting it the most. The Russian uniform color and Iraqi sand work really well together for highlights as well. Lots of shading here, so that will be fun to take care of. Okay, so to save time, I'm going to see what's on my palette to help highlight this. And I see that we've got parts of Iraqi sand already on there, so I'm just going to add it. And just start accentuating the highlights. Not a lot of highlights for these lower pouches. There's a lot of shade though, so we will take care of that. Get some more on this pouch here, or this patch, I mean. Okay. Oh, now I want it even brighter. Just want some more here. Now, I don't have to worry about getting too bright because I'm going to introduce brown washes, different washes to this, that's going to tone that down. Cool. Okay, let's add some more. Just again, the topmost parts of where the sun or the light would be hitting. The edge. All these edges, the edge of the pouch. The sling, do right here. Hopefully this is all coming through. You guys can start seeing changes. Okay, this is going to be the final highlight for this. So final highlights is when I just really create light. And I really just dab the edges and stuff where the light is hitting the most. That's crusting it. How's that look? Okay, cool. Again, it may look like it's too bright, but I know what the washes are going to do, or the shades are going to do, and it will tone that down. So I am not worried about any of that at all. Okay, now while I'm at it, I'm going to go back and do the elbow pads and knee pads. I'm just going to start introducing some lighter colors. Again, this is no real US pattern. You know, hell knows what pattern it is, but so I'm just trying to add my own colors to it. And have them stand out a little bit. And because I have the wet palette, I'm just going right back to those khakis and that Iraqi sand that's already there. And just applying it. Okay. Sometimes blowing on them helps get it to dry, helps the layers. Okay, let's see. I don't want to spend too much time on these. I talk a lot about knowing what your paints will do, knowing what technology you're using, and having an understanding of how things are going to look when they're dry. So that's what I'm doing here, especially with those knee pads. I know what it's going to look like when it's dry, so I'm not stressing over it too much. Okay, let's do the face here. Break this red up. We're going to go back to Carne Maroon Tan. So I'm going to reintroduce that red tan color back to the highlights of the flesh. His face really is not defined best, I will say that. There's really no cheekbones. So in that case, you have to kind of create cheekbones, create features by using highlight colors and shades. I can tell you from my experience from traditional sculptors so far, Stavros's faces are the best that I have seen, that I've personally worked with for producing miniatures. They're a heck of a lot of fun to paint, and each figure's face is different. There's no, I've got this head that I've cast, and then all of a sudden I'm going to turn it into 3 or 4 different characters and make this masculine face look like it's a woman. None of that. It's all when Stavros sculpts, he sculpts new. Okay, so I went back to the tan, and now I'm going to start working on my layers of color. And as I've said before in previous videos, not always, but what I've been doing for these is I use Game Color, I believe this is Dwarf Flesh. You know what, I may not even use that for this case. We'll see. Flat Flesh, and then basic skin tone. So let's see here. Goodness, stuff is dry. So we start building the skin color. Looks like some green is getting introduced to this. Okay. Okay, here we go. So we're applying this flesh to the highlighted areas of the red. Get this point here. Now, like my camouflage brush, I do have a brush for faces that I only use for faces. But for this demonstration, I'm just using this number 8 round craft brush because I'm somewhat in a hurry trying to get this done, and I didn't want to take the time to reach for the other one. That's how sad it is. Okay, here we go. Back of the head. Okay. Flat flesh. I will drop right into the other mixture. I'll get that on camera for you. Sorry about that. Nice mixture here. Okay. Again, going back to whatever cheeks I can manage to create. And it's rather difficult with this figure, the way it's sculpted, because he doesn't have any cheekbones there. There you go. Okay. And we'll go one last flesh color here, and that is basic skin tone. And we'll drop that right into that. Mix it up real good. Got a nice flesh highlight there. So with this final highlight, I just really hit the topmost area of where the light is going to be hitting. So that is, for this figure, the nose. Right here, the top of his bald head. Back of his bald head. Sides of the knuckles. There you go. Cool. Okay, now let's get to his hair, his beard. So we still have the chocolate brown on the palette. I'm going to go back to the chocolate brown. Get my point back here. I will say, I like this figure. It's cool. He's cool looking. He's wild looking. Okay, let's see here. Let's add some highlights to the chocolate brown. Let's see. Okay. Little more where the light's hitting his hair up here. Okay. Accentuate this lock there. Okay. Let's go to his glasses. We've got the chain, or I'm sorry, the gunmetal on the palette still. I'm going to just go across, create like a highlight with it, that's all. Nothing special. And we'll go back down to the magazine, highlight that. There you go. Pretty cool. Okay, what else we got? The rifle. Now, sometimes this can give me some trouble, to be honest with you. If the Nuln Oil was too dark, if I didn't mix it well, or thin it, then that black, well, it gets black. So we'll see what I do. So I'm going to go back using the dark rubber, and I'm going to start doing some just touches of highlights on the weapon. Yeah, it's showing through. That's good. Cool. I'm gonna add some. I took some of the flesh color and put it into the dark rubber, and because the paint's thin, I'm just layering or just dabbing highlights. That's all. And I can also get the boots. And I will get the back of this cross. Cool. Awesome. Wow. Well, so for a speed painting experiment on Camouflage, I don't think that came out too bad. Okay, so we're done. We're done with the main colors. We're done with all the painting. Now we're going to start using some tones and create some shadows. But first, I have to put you on mute, and I'm going to use the hairdryer and blow dry this real quick. Okay, in my previous videos, I talked about how I first start doing shades, and I make a thin coat of what's considered Agrax Earth Shade, which is Army Painter Strong Tone, and I am looking for it right now. Strong Tone. Woohoo! Found it. So I do real thin layers, a thin layer of Strong Tone, and basically that's just creating a brown filter, putting it across the entire figure, and creating a level painting surface, really. Okay. So I do use Agrax Earthshade and Nuln Oil. However, I've had some problems recently where I don't know, I've talked to my buddy John about it. I don't know if I'm diluting it too much, but what's happening is when the paint dries, I'm getting this white line separation in the crevices, and it's like, what the hell is going on here? So I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. At first I thought the uniform or the colors weren't dry, so I dried them. I even did a matte spray, and I still got that problem. So, okay, here we go. Here's what's considered Agrax Earthshade, and I'm just putting it all over the figure. I'm just creating a filter. Mig Jimenez talked about filters in modeling, and used the example of like red cellophane that used to be wrapped around bananas. As kids, we'd take the red cellophane and look through them, and everything looked red. Well, that's what this is. This is just a filter. I'm not really trying to create shadows or shades in this. I'm just kind of toning things down a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to put it on my mute real quick and dry it and come back. Okay, it's dry. So it has made a reduction of color, of brightness, which is great. It's made things more uniform to me. A little bit blended better. That look, at least. That's the whole idea. It's just to trick the eye. Make it look something like it's not, really. Creating the illusion. Okay, so now this is where the fun part for me is. I really like just adding shades to the dark areas. And I'm going to do that by using dark blue and Nuln Oil for this exercise as well. I will literally just see this area here. This is all shadow. So I want to make this darker, but I don't want to just use black. That's boring. So I'll use a dark blue. And underneath here, dark blue and this Russian uniform color look really cool together. So you'll see what this looks like. We'll use some blue around the bald head to give that effect. Okay, so here we go. Where's my dark blue? Blue tone. Here's my trusty super glue blisters. So put that drop in there. definitely need a refill in water. Mix that up. This is not right out of the bottle because I want it somewhat thin. Okay. Where are we going here? Like I said, we're going to introduce shadows right in this area. Create a darker area. Underneath the arms. The elbows, underneath the pouches. Right back here. Between here. On this bald head. Give that look that it's shaved, but it's growing back. Kind of that look. Okay, I'm doing that dark blue between those legs. Definitely in the knee pads. You can also, what I like to do, I go 1 or 2 or 3, 10 steps further, and I will start using an outliner, and I'll start outlining these pouches. And create more definition. Making them appear like they're actual real pouches. Creating that outline. Oh, right up here. I forgot all about this up here. Lots of shadow area here. Around the knee pads. Okay. Now I'm going to get some of the, let's see, dark tone. Do I have this out already? Yep, dark tone. Got dark tone out already from the weapon. Put that out there, and I will dilute that. And I'm going to mix some of that while the blue is still wet. So you have a really even more interesting color. See the shadow here where the lower pouches meet and the lower part of the back? So we just create more shade there. Create more shadow. Which then, when you do that, it highlights or brings out the bottom pouch and the highlight there. Same thing here. Okay, so now I'm going to slow down, take a look. What do I need to do? Where do I need to create more shades? So I'm just kind of putting the glazes where the deep shadows are. Yep, if I wanted to go more detailed, then I would be like I said, be using an outliner with some, I'd use Reaper Blue outliner, and I would actually start outlining these pouches. But my time is limited, so So let's see here. Tone that down a little bit. Create more of a shadow there. Get some shadow in the lens. Okay, I'm going to put the mic on mute and blow dry it and see what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to drop my brush here, add some more of the black right into there. Okay, one more time, and I think we're done. Okay, there's still parts of them that's a little wet, but that's okay. There you go, guys. That's it. Hopefully you can see him. Good. So it's a woodland camouflage pattern. I think we achieved that pretty well for speed painting. I mean, I did this figure probably, I don't know, an hour and a half. Actually, it looks like it's an hour and 40 minutes from start to finish, which is not bad for camouflage pattern. This is a great tabletop quality figure. It's not going to win any competitions. It's not meant to. It's meant to get figures painted and on the table. It's also meant to help people get over any fear of painting camouflage or just painting in general. And just know that just give yourself time and patience. Allow yourself to fail. As I teach my kids and my friends, allow yourself to F up. It's very freeing. Just get a figure, just get a brush, and start painting. So, are there some things I would change for this figure? I would, yeah. I would add some more highlights. I would create a little bit more deeper shades to bring these pockets, these side pockets out. But other than that, I think he's really good. So this is, again, part of the Conflict Ukraine pack. This is of the DNR. This is the Russian-backed rebels. You know, you can use him for Conflict Ukraine. You can use him for post-apocalyptic games, modern militia in the U.S. Whatever whatever you want. So again, I hope this helps. If you guys need to reach me, if you have any questions, feel free to message me at Tim Spakowski. You can also email me at tim@footsoreminiatures.co.uk. And also, this is going to be on YouTube. So tell your friends about my YouTube channel, FootSore North America. Subscribe to it. Share this. Let other people know that it's out there, and that hopefully it will help them out. So, yep, really cool. Okay, you guys have a good evening.